Did you know that St. Luke's University Health Network has been recognized by the U.S. government as the highest performing health system in the United States for quality? You heard right. St. Luke's #1 recognition affirms our status as the top leader among the most respected healthcare providers in the nation, including Houston Methodist and the Mayo Clinic. To state it simply, if you want to receive the best care when you go to a hospital, come to St. Luke's.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Excuse me, taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Happy Monday night, everybody. Not so happy, however, for the Congresswoman representing the 14th District of New York. That, of course, is Queens and the Bronx. That is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Touted by more than a few people in this ridiculous media industry as somebody who is a serious challenger for the presidency in 2028. Well, she had a bad trip to Munich. I mean, embarrassingly, painfully, very, very, very awkward and cringe to listen to. And look, this isn't like, hey, let's pick on the Democratic Congresswoman. You know, oh, Republicans pounce on AOC for a little gaffe and get a stat right. No, she said some profoundly, no other word for it, stupid things when she was over there. This person has no business being in the United States Congress, which is a pretty low bar, let alone President of the United States, and certainly not Vice President of the United States as well. Then again, Kamala, if that's the bar, well, I hate to say it, but Kamala Harris compared to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in these clips sounds like Margaret Thatcher. Trust me. Here's the first clip. And this sounds like a sophomore in high school who didn't study the night before, then had a surprise oral exam where they had to get to a minimum word/time count. And you can tell she has never given this question even one thought in her 34 years on this planet. I'll show you what I mean. This is cut number 1. Go.
Would and should the U.S. actually commit U.S. troops to defend Taiwan if China were to move?
I think that this is such a, I think that this is a, this is, of course, a very longstanding policy of the United States. And I think what we are hoping for is that we want to make sure that we never get to that point. And we want to make sure that we are moving in all of our economic research and our global positions to avoid any such confrontation and for that question to even arise.
I don't know what she said there at the end. I honestly do not. The question is, what do you do if China decides to move on Taiwan? And she obviously hasn't given this much thought throughout all those thousands of TikTok videos and X posts and Facebook posts. This is not her sweet spot. It's not even on the bat. She's not even on the field with that sort of answer. And if you're China and you listen to that, and this person somehow becomes president, you go into Taiwan about 5 minutes after inauguration, because you could tell you have a commander in chief who has no idea where Taiwan is on a map, let alone would know what to do in that sort of situations. By the way, if you're counting at home, she did 7 uhs and ums in the first 10 seconds of that particular answer. And I thought she was supposed to be this great communicator, could really think on her feet. Karine Jean-Pierre watched that and said, boy, that was awkward. Believe me. Meanwhile, here she is now talking about, again, this is more her sweet spot, I guess, talking about race and systemic racism and white and black and Latino, and just everything is through the lens of victimhood and how white supremacy and white people in general are evil, and everybody else is the victim of that evil. Anyway, here is cut number 2. This is where AOC is arguing there is no cultural whiteness or something. Cut 2, go.
There's a very big difference between whiteness and national, like your actual culture, right? Whiteness is an imaginary thing. Being German is real. Being Italian is real. being English. These are rich cultural heritages that are based on values, and they are so much a part of what make our cultures and our societies what they are.
You can't make up any sort of snarky response to respond to that with that is effective enough, quite frankly. In fact, you don't need a snarky response. Just play it and just let it speak for itself. There is no cultural whiteness there. It's imaginary whiteness. What does that mean? Why is she even talking about this in Munich? What does it have to do with anything? Oh.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I
filed my return,
but I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though.
I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.